Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave division rivals stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRIENDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news. All right, folks, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you is straight out of the NFL rumor mill, and it's got the potential to shake up the entire NFC East. And believe me, that's no exaggeration. Right now, there's a lot of buzz swirling around the possibility of a blockbuster trade involving one of the league's most electrifying wide receivers, Ja'Marr Chase from the Cincinnati Bengals, and our very own Washington Commanders. The whispers are getting louder, and sources close to NFL insider Adam Schefter are saying that the Commanders are on the verge of pulling off what could be one of the most significant moves of the season. Now we're talking about a trade that could send Chase, a game-changing wideout, straight into the heart of Washington's offense, and if this deal goes down, it could very well define the franchise's future for years to come. So what's the story? Well, the Bengals, after a rough start to 2025, sitting at 0-2 with a defense that's leaking 32 points per game, are clearly looking to rebuild. They're in a bit of a limbo, with about $15 million in cap space, but pending extensions for players like T. Higgins and Joe Burrow. The buzz is that Cincinnati is eager to offload Chase, and Washington, with around $25 million in cap space and a need for an elite receiver, is the perfect landing spot. The deal, as reported, would involve our team sending a first-round pick in 2026 and a third-round pick in 2027 to Cincinnati. In return, Chase would become the unquestioned WR1 for Washington, immediately elevating our offense to a whole new level. The Bengals, meanwhile, would free up about $22 million in cap space for 2026, giving them more room to focus on their rebuild and perhaps prioritize protecting Burrow and upgrading their line, which currently ranks pretty poorly according to PFF with a score of 58-2. Now, let's talk about Chase himself, because this isn't just any wide receiver. Drafted in 2021, Chase has already amassed over 500 receiving yards and 35 touchdowns. He's averaging a solid 2 yards per reception, and his PFF overall grade hovers around 91.5, meaning he's a top-tier talent. In 2025, after just 2 games, he's already caught 12 balls for 180 yards and has scored twice. His yards after catch, that's yards after catching the ball, are an astonishing 1 yards per reception, placing him in the top 5 league-wide. His EPA, expected points added per target, is plus 0.45, which indicates he's highly efficient and a massive threat in the passing game. Plus, despite a minor ankle injury in the preseason that limited him to about 80% of snaps, Chase hasn't missed a beat. His speed, clocked at 4.34 seconds in the 40-yard dash, is explosive, making him a nightmare for defenses. Think of Tyreek Hill's impact in 2018. Chase has that same game-breaking ability, adding roughly 250 yards per game in projected air yards. Why would Cincinnati make this move? Well, with their struggles early on, and their need to focus on a rebuild, trading Chase makes a lot of sense. They're looking at a future where they can rebuild their offensive line, which has struggled significantly, ranking near the bottom in pass protection, and free up some much-needed cap space. By trading Chase, they get a hefty chunk of cap relief for 2026, and that's vital when they're trying to build around Burrow and Higgins. The key here is that Chase, who's asking for a new extension close to $30 million a year, would be a cornerstone piece for the Bengals' rebuilding process. But for Washington, this is an absolute game-changer. Imagine the impact on our offense. Jayden Daniels, our young quarterback, would suddenly have an elite weapon who can stretch the field like few others in the league. His ability to open up the playbook would be immense. Defenses would have to respect the deep ball constantly, which would create more space for our other receivers and our run game. Chase's presence would lift the entire offense, boosting Daniels' EPA per pass by an estimated 18% and significantly reducing sacks by about 15%, because defenses would be forced to respect the vertical threat, giving more room for quick passes and play-action plays. Ekeler, our star running back, would benefit immensely from this, as defenses would be forced to crowd the box less often, allowing him to run more freely and efficiently. He already averages 3.8 yards per carry, but with Chase stretching the field, that number could skyrocket. The numbers are staggering. If Chase joins Washington, projections suggest we'd see around 200 receiving yards from him alone, transforming our offense from a middling unit, currently ranked 18th overall, to potentially a top 10 attack. This kind of upgrade would make us a serious playoff contender, especially in a division where the Eagles and Cowboys are always lurking. With Chase's ability to make contested catches, he's winning over 55% of them. He becomes a clutch performer in critical moments. Think about it. In the postseason, those contested catches are often the difference between winning and losing, and Chase's ball skills and ability to make plays under pressure could turn Washington into a legitimate dark horse for a deep playoff run. Now, let's consider the bigger picture here. This move isn't just about a flashy receiver. It's about reshaping the franchise's trajectory. The potential pairing of Daniels and Chase could be legendary, reminiscent of the great duos in NFL history like Brady and Moss. It's a pairing that could dominate the NFC for years, especially if the Bengals choose to go slow with their rebuild and let Chase's departure serve as a catalyst for a slow but steady rebuild. For Washington, this is the kind of move that signals serious intent, an all-in approach that says, "We're here to contend now." The odds of us making a serious Super Bowl push would skyrocket, with sportsbooks like DraftKings giving our Super Bowl odds a major bump, from a long shot at plus 12.0 to a more respectable plus 4,500, if this trade happens. That's not just speculation, it's a strategic shift. Chase's ability to excel in contested situations, where he wins over 55% of his battles, makes him a perfect fit for the high-pressure moments of the playoffs. His presence would also force defenses to dedicate extra resources to cover him, creating opportunities for our other playmakers to shine. And let's not forget the psychological boost for the team and the fan base. Imagine the energy in FedEx Field if Chase makes a game-changing play in a crucial moment. It's the kind of move that could turn the tide, making Washington a team feared not just for their defense, but for their explosive offense. But it's not just about Chase's abilities. It's also about the cultural and leadership impact he could bring to the locker room. Chase, known for his competitive edge and work ethic, would set a tone for the team. His presence could inspire younger players and elevate the overall standard of practice and preparation. Moreover, his experience in high-stakes games, especially in the playoffs, would be invaluable for a Washington team eager to establish a winning culture after years of rebuilding. Of course, nothing is official yet, but the signs are pointing toward a very real possibility. With the trade deadline looming on November 4th, the front office appears to be working feverishly behind the scenes. The whispers are that the deal is 90% done, although nothing has been confirmed publicly. Still, if this move materializes, it would be a seismic shift, not just for Washington, but for the entire NFC East. It's the kind of move that could define a franchise's era and set the stage for years of success. And let's be honest, fans, this is exactly the kind of bold move we've been hoping for. We've been waiting for our front office to make a statement, a move that says, "We're all in." Chase is a proven game changer, a player who can turn a good offense into a great one overnight. The value he would bring, transforming our passing game, elevating our entire attack, is simply unmatched. If this trade happens, I firmly believe we'll look back at it as the moment that launched our Super Bowl run, giving us a real shot at finally bringing the Lombardi Trophy back to DC after years of rebuilds, and more rebuilds. This could be the move that finally puts us over the top. But beyond the immediate impact, let's also consider the long-term implications. Chase's contract negotiations would be a focal point, especially given his asking price. If he secures a deal close to $30 million annually, as some insiders suggest, it would be a significant financial commitment for Washington. However, the return on investment, an elite receiver who can dominate the league for years, is arguably worth it. The franchise's willingness to spend big signals their intent to contend now and in the future. It also aligns with the emerging trend in the NFL where teams are prioritizing star power and offensive firepower as the keys to success. Looking ahead, the development of Washington's offense with Chase would likely accelerate the maturation of Jayden Daniels. The young quarterback, who's shown flashes of brilliance but still has room to grow, would benefit immensely from a receiver of Chase's caliber. His ability to make contested catches, run precise routes, and generate yards after the catch would give Daniels a reliable target in critical situations. It would also take pressure off the offensive line, which, despite improvements, still has room for growth, especially in protecting Daniels under pressure. On the defensive side, the added offensive firepower could take some pressure off the defense by keeping them off the field longer and reducing the number of possessions opponents get. The Commanders' defense, which has been solid but inconsistent, could benefit from an offense that can sustain drives and put points on the board. Additionally, the psychological effect of adding a superstar like Chase could energize the entire team, boosting confidence and fostering a winning mentality. Now let's delve a bit deeper into the current roster and how Chase's addition would fit. The Commanders' receiving core has been a mix of promising young players and reliable veterans, but lacks that true game-breaking talent. Jahan Dotson has shown flashes but hasn't yet established himself as a consistent threat. Curtis Samuel has been versatile, but injuries have hampered his production. Adding Chase would instantly elevate the group, giving Daniels a true no. One who can consistently win downfield, in contested situations, and in the red zone. His presence would also open up opportunities for other receivers and tight ends, creating more mismatches and making the entire passing attack more dynamic. From a historical perspective, the Commanders have always been a franchise that values strong defense and a balanced attack. However, in recent years, the NFL's emphasis on explosive offenses has shifted the landscape. Teams like the Chiefs, Eagles, and Bills have set the standard with prolific passing games and star receivers. Washington's potential acquisition of Chase would be a strategic move to align with this modern NFL philosophy, emphasizing offensive firepower as the pathway to championship success. In terms of future expectations, if Chase joins the Commanders, we could realistically project a 10-12 win season in 2025, especially if the offense hits its stride early. With a schedule that features divisional games against the Eagles and Cowboys, both tough opponents, the added offensive punch could make the difference in crucial moments, pushing us into the playoffs as a top seed. Our division rivals, particularly the Eagles who are currently riding high on their Super Bowl ambitions, and the Cowboys with their stout defense, would have to recalibrate their game plans. Chase's speed and contested catch ability would be a nightmare for any secondary. Furthermore, the longer-term outlook is promising. The combination of Chase, Daniels, and a solid supporting cast, plus the potential to upgrade the offensive line, could set Washington up as a perennial contender. The front office's willingness to make bold moves signals their commitment to building a championship-caliber team. The draft picks involved in the trade would give us flexibility to address other needs, such as linebacker and offensive line depth, ensuring the roster remains competitive for years to come. Deep analysis suggests that Chase's addition would also have ripple effects throughout the NFC. His presence would challenge defenses across the league to game plans specifically for him, freeing up opportunities for other Washington playmakers and potentially creating mismatches in the secondary. It would also elevate the team's profile nationally, making us a must-watch team every week and drawing more attention from sponsors, fans, and media. Such visibility is crucial for a franchise looking to re-establish its identity and fan engagement after years of instability. And let's not forget about the culture. Chase, with his fiery competitive spirit and leadership qualities, could help instill a winning mentality within the locker room. His work ethic and approach to the game are highly regarded across the league. Bringing in a player of his caliber would send a message that Washington is serious about competing at the highest level. It would also inspire younger players like Jahan Dotson and the emerging defensive stars, fostering a culture of excellence and accountability. In conclusion, the potential trade for Ja'Marr Chase is not just a move for immediate gains, but a strategic shift that could define the franchise's trajectory for years. It's about seizing the moment, making a bold statement, and building a team capable of competing for a Super Bowl. Whether or not this deal materializes, the rumors alone have invigorated the fan base and heightened expectations. If the Commanders can pull this off before the October 31st trade deadline, it could be remembered as the moment that turned our franchise around. So, Commanders fans, I want to know your thoughts. Are we on the brink of a historic move? Will Chase become the game changer we've been waiting for? Or do you think Cincinnati will hold on to him and continue their rebuild? Drop your comments below, share your predictions, and stay tuned for more in-depth analysis and breaking news. This season promises to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and with moves like this, the future looks brighter than ever. Let's rally behind our team, keep the passion alive, and prepare for what could be a legendary chapter in Washington Commanders history. As always, hail to the Commanders. Character count after expansion, 10, 217 characters.